Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, it's time for Charitable Georgia. Brought to you by Bees Charitable Pursuits and Resources. We put the fun in fundraising. For more information, go to beescharitablepursuits.com. That's BEES charitablepursuits.com. Now, here's your host, Brian Pruitt.
Good Fabulous Friday. It's another Fabulous Friday. We've got three more fabulous guests. If this is your first time listening to Charitable Georgia, it's all about positively happening in your community. And again, like I said, we've got three fabulous guests this morning, and I don't know if I put myself in this situation or not because I can be in trouble because I'm the only guy in the studio again this morning. So Stone's even left me. He normally says, you're in charge now, producing and being the host. So thanks a lot, Stone. But no, I'm excited about this morning. We, again, three wonderful ladies here, and we're going to start this morning with Shay Traylor. I put it wrong on the internet, so it's Traylor, not Taylor. I apologize, Shay.
It's okay.
But you're with Loving Arms Cancer Outreach, and you're the founder, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. So we'll get into talk about that in just a second, but tell us a little bit about your background, and then you can tell us how you got what Loving Arms started and what you guys do. Okay.
Well, I am a RN by trade. I've been an RN for 34 years now, and being an RN, I've done different things, different areas of nursing. And the last 20 years, it's been in oncology nursing, where I take care of cancer patients administering their chemotherapy. And during that, I realized that there was a big need out there for financial assistance to help pay for different things where the patients can do their medical treatment. And they would come into the infusion suite worried over their bills. And so we just fell into this organization or starting this organization. It was never my intent. And that's been 12 years ago. And God has blessed us to where we have been able to help thousands of Georgians with cancer to pay their bills while they're going through treatment.
Are you from Georgia originally?
I am not. I am from Mobile, Alabama originally. And I moved to Georgia in 2006.
I was going to say 26. You got that little time.
I missed the zero. 2006.
There you go. Yeah. All right. What brought you this way?
My husband wanted to move to a bigger city. He was from Philadelphia, and I am from Mobile, and he did not like the small city feel. And so he met me and wound up being there for 13 years, and then we moved.
Probably a culture shock going over here from Mobile.
It was. It really was. But we moved to the suburbs, so I still had that small town feel, but he had access to Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, the big city feel.
There you go.
It was a good compromise.
So when you're nursing, where did you come over here? Where did you do your nursing at?
When I moved here, I started working at Northwest Georgia Oncology at Kennestone, and I did that for about 13 years. And during that 13 years, I started Loving Arms Cancer Outreach.
Awesome.
Well, not by myself. There was another nurse. It was two of us. Her name's Diana, but she retired in 2015. So.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that organization in just a second, but I got a couple of questions for you first. So tell me why, first of all, it's important for you to be part of the community.
Well, Loving Arms Cancer Outreach, we help the community. And so it's important that we become a part and the community knows more about us so that not only can we help them, but they can help us. And there are so many people right around us that are affected by cancer that even if they're not the ones that have it or have the diagnosis, they are related or they know somebody who has the diagnosis. And Loving Arms needs to be out there. We need to be seen. People need to know that we are an accessible resource for them. And so I'm here today to let the world or let our listeners get to know more about us so that we can help them and they in turn can help us.
All right. So since you started that, go ahead and tell us more and how people could get involved. But first of all, tell us everything that you do and where all you serve, and then how can people get involved?
Okay. Well, we are Loving Arms services 7 counties. When we first started the organization back in 2011, we had these grandiose ideas that we would help the whole state of Georgia. Well, that came to a screeching halt. We primarily assist with financial and emotional things. The financial aspect of it, we pay people's bills. We'll pay their light bill, their gas bill, water bill, cell phone bill if that's their main phone. We will send out gas cards to help them get back and forth to treatments. We send out grocery cards to help them buy food so they don't have to decide whether they're going to buy their medicine or buy groceries. So we do those types of things. We also have a program that's for certain people. It's a special grant that we have that will assist with rent and mortgage payments. So, but there's a big qualification that follows into that and it's for Cobb County residents. But we also have support groups for anybody that has cancer, and we meet every other week, and we do different things like yoga, light touch massage. We have a time where we serve lunch and we just talk. And the big part of that is the people that have had cancer and have survived for years are able to help the people that are just starting or have been doing it for a shorter period of time. So you go to this meeting and you have lunch and light touch massage and sometimes chair yoga. And then you get to talk to people that have walked the path that you're walking, and you're getting encouragement. You're finding out some shortcuts, some educational type things. And so it's really a big deal. And you're with people who are walking that path with you, so you don't feel so alone. Because cancer has a tendency to make you feel isolated because you are fighting this battle and you feel like you're fighting it by yourself. And our support groups helps you to see you're not fighting it by yourself. Somebody else has done this and somebody else is doing this, and you've got support. So that's a very important component of what we do. But I think people mostly like us because we help financially.
Right. So do you guys also have support groups for the family members with those who have cancer?
The family members are more than welcome to attend. We have had several family members to come. They turn into volunteers real quick. They start helping with the light touch massage and the yogas and the serving of lunch and stuff like that, because not only do they want to come and find out more about what their person is going through, but they also see there are other people that are there that need help. And so instead of them sitting there receiving and, having a time out, they wind up volunteering and helping out, and they find a lot of joy in that. So yes. And if ever we get a lot of them that request a caregiver support group, we will definitely consider that. Because in the past we have had that. But then the attendance fell off because they're so busy taking care of somebody that they don't take the time out to go to a place just for them. So attendance fell down, and so we just combined it into one.
There you go. So you guys are based in Marietta, is that correct?
That is correct. Our office is at 844 Livingston Court, right off of Franklin Gateway.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. We know Franklin Gateway pretty well, don't we, Dana?
We surely do.
So you mentioned earlier that you said you support 7 counties?
Yes.
Can you mention those?
Yes. The 7 counties that we're currently supporting are Cobb, Bartow, Cherokee, Carroll, Pickens, Paulding, and Douglas.
Okay. Nice. Remember. You had talked about people getting involved in volunteers and mostly family members, but what other way can the community get involved with you guys? Well,
we have several events that we have every year that we would love for people to get involved with, because we can't do it by ourselves. It takes the community to make these things happen. One is our Dancing with the Stars of Cobb County. Dancing with the Stars of Loving Arms. And the next event is going to be April the 28th. And we are excited about that because it's going to be our reunion tour because we have not been able to do it since COVID.
Oh.
And so this is going to be our reunion tour where we have some of the past dancers to come out, and they're going to do a repeat performance or a new performance even. And we're just excited. Some of the previous instructors are going to be there. And we have a silent auction. We have heavy hors d'oeuvres. We have a time of just partying and having a good time. And it's a great fundraiser for us. We, in the past, have had it at the Renaissance Waverly. We've had it at the Marietta Conference Center. And this year, not this year, but in 2024, we're having it in Paulding. Actually, we are having it at the Civic Center and Theater in Paulding and in Dallas, Georgia. And because what we're trying to do is incorporate the other counties that we serve. We're trying to get the communities in every county that we serve involved in what we do. We're also, what's coming up next is a Festival of Trees in Euharlee, which is in Bartow County. Mm-hmm. We're having that, and it starts the Saturday right after Thanksgiving, which is the 25th of November. It will run for a week, ending on the 2nd of December, which is the following Saturday. And it's going to be every night from 6 to 9. We have trees that are being donated by different companies, different organizations, and those will be on display, and they will be available for silent auction. Not just trees, but wreaths and decorations, anything Christmas. So it'll be like walking into a Christmas land, and it's going to be at the Granary near the Covered Bridge in Euharlee. And our big night is going to be that Monday. They have the Christmas parade with Santa Claus and everybody, and it ends right there at the Granary where we'll be having the Festival of Trees. So I feel like it's going to be really busy.
Well, you just got Lois excited, so I'm sure she'll be reaching out to help you.
Every single year with my daughters. We love the Festival of Trees.
Awesome.
My daughter always goes and looks around at every single one.
Yes,
she loves the displays.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, this year it's being we've partnered with the city of Euharlee, and we're going to be doing it. So.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
And I have a feeling that after the show's over, Lois will be talking to you that she'll get involved some way.
Yes,
I need volunteers.
I already took a lot of notes for your event. So
I love volunteers. And so we have a we have a fundraising committee, and we meet and we do these different events. We have subcommittees in those committees where the people in the community join us on those subcommittees to get the little things done so that it equals up to the big thing. That way, because right now we only have 2 full-time employees and a lot of volunteers that volunteer in the office, and I volunteer as well. And we need people in the community to come with us to help us to do these things because we can't do everything by ourselves.
So when you do your gala, I got my guy I want to connect you with who does the silent auction stuff that could probably boost your event on the silent auctions. Right, Lois?
Mm-hmm. He is absolutely amazing.
And it's no charge.
Ooh, that's even better.
I'll connect you. His name's Chad Blake.
Okay.
Angel Auctions. You're welcome, Chad.
Shout out to Chad.
Yes. He's amazing. So I always tell people if there's anybody who has a heart that can beat out of their chest, it'd be Chad. So anyway, let me ask you this. I actually didn't know about you guys until I'm having a brain fart who emailed me. Janet, thank you. So tell me how you guys get the word out.
The biggest part is by word of mouth. We also have a good Facebook following, Instagram. We go to doctor's offices, the oncologist offices, the infusion centers, cancer centers, and the discharge planners at the hospitals. We talk to those people because they're the ones that come in contact with the patients one-on-one, and they hear about what their needs are, and they send us a referral. And the referral process is somebody could either call us at 770-590-5153 and give us their information. The discharge planners at the hospitals will call us and give us the information. The doctor's offices, if you have cancer or are currently in treatment or have been in treatment within the last 18 months of ending your treatment, you qualify because we don't discriminate between the types of cancers. We assist with all cancers. And that's why I have on a lot of lavender today because lavender represents all cancers. And that those are Loving Arms colors because we want to represent all cancers. Mm-hmm. So if you have had chemotherapy or you have had radiation or some type of surgery for cancer within the last 18 months or you're currently in it, you qualify. It's not based on income because cancer will strike you and you will find yourself broke. So we don't look at income except for special grant things that the government requires. Right. But normally just for us helping, we don't look for income. So we have people that call us on the phone that heard from a friend or heard from a friend from a friend, and they call and ask us, can you help me? And if they meet those qualifications, then yes, we can. To verify that they are telling the truth or that they actually have cancer, we send a form to the doctor and he signs verifying that they do have cancer. And then we start helping as best we can.
Wow. Go ahead.
I love that you mentioned, Shay, that you all help everyone with cancer. And just last week, since this is Cancer Awareness Month, mm-hmm. I was attending the Pink Frog Ball Affair, mm-hmm. which is also an organization that shows up in the same space to help those dealing with cancer and resources. And one of my good friends who invited me, every year he invites me, Eric Dunlap, is one of the first men and the only men that I knew with breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And he's a survivor over 20 years. So you're helping all people, including men with breast cancer, raising their awareness around that to get screened is so essential. So I'm excited about what you all are doing for many reasons, but I'll just say that for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we talk on the show a lot of time too about not only community but also the power of networking. Do you go out and do any networking for your organization?
I go out and I do wherever somebody wants me to speak, wherever somebody wants my presence, I'm there. During COVID, I was out a lot. Well, I took a step back during COVID because in February 2021, I lost my husband to COVID. And I didn't have the emotional reserve to do anything. It was enough to just barely live. And so I took a step back. And I didn't realize how much my presence was missed because I was the one that always went out and did and met people, shook hands, kissed babies and stuff like that. I didn't realize how it was missed until somebody called and asked, was Loving Arms still a thing? Or was Loving Arms still around helping people? And we were actually doing very, very well during COVID because we qualified for some grants that we didn't ordinarily qualify for. And so I thought it was so strange. And then she said, well, we haven't seen Shay. Where is Shay? Shay's usually at all the events. She's at all this networking and she hasn't been around. And that's when, they told her what happened. But that struck home with me as to how important it is to get out in the community and let the people see that you're there, mm-hmm. to tell the people constantly that Loving Arms is here and can help. And I didn't realize how my stepping back had such a big impact on that. And so now I'm back.
Awesome.
I have a newfound resilience, I better get out here and do this.
So I've been dubbed, this is a few years ago, but I've been dubbed the leader of the networking posse. So I need to induct you and you can follow us. Lois has started coming to one of our groups. I can send you some groups to go to, but you definitely need to be out there so people can.
Oh, absolutely.
And the Carsville Business Club that you guys are, since you're in Bartow County, you need to be part of the Carsville Business Club. Okay. It is more than just
I agree 100%.
A networking group. It's a community.
Okay.
And, so you will find a lot of, support there. So, I want to go back to a little bit about your background. I wanted to ask, what made you decide to become a nurse?
Well, my inspiration was a time in my life where I was a teenager. Prior to this, I had only wanted to be a doctor. But as a teenager, I made some bad decisions, and I wound up a teenage mother. And my young one was, she was ill, and she stayed in the NICU at the hospital. And my experience in going in there, interacting with the nurses, seeing how the nurses loved her, loved all the babies in there, and the impact they had on my life. They took me under their wings, and just became mothers while I was there. And so they taught me how to take care of her. They taught me all the different things that I needed to know. And I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to take care of people. I wanted to be a doctor, but I saw the doctors, not that they had a bad impression on me, but they would come in, they would do their doctor stuff, and they were gone. They didn't have a relationship with me. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to have a relationship not just with the patients, but with their family as well. And so as soon as I graduated high school, I went right into nursing school. And I graduated from high school when I was 17. And then I went right into nursing school. So I went and got my associate's degree. So I graduated nursing school at 19 and took my state boards and got the results just after I turned 20. So I was like the youngest nurse, the youngest RN at the hospital, and the patients were like, can you send the nurse? You are a candy striper. And I'm like, nope, I'm here to give you your big medicines. So that's what inspired me to become a nurse. And I haven't looked back. I am a caregiver by nature. I love taking care of people. I've done the supervisor thing, sitting behind the desk, and that was a no-go for me. I needed that hands-on, taking care of people, finding out what's going on with them, and that sort of thing.
I think it's important that too. They talk about the bedside manner for doctors, but the nurses are the ones that, Absolutely. They're always with the patients, looking after them and everything. Right. So it's, so I'll give you a quick story. When I was younger, I had something, we've talked about before on here, but, when my mom took me into the urgent care, I guess it was an urgent care, to give me a shot that they needed me shot, the nurse, she was quite large, and she sat on me. Needless to say, my mother was not very pleased, and there could have been, there probably was anyway, that was not a nurse that you wanted to be involved with, but nurses, I think, are amazing. So, we appreciate for what you're doing there as well. So, let me ask you this too. So you've, have the experience of starting a nonprofit. If somebody's listening and is thinking about starting a nonprofit, give some advice on what to do or what not to do.
My advice to someone thinking about starting a nonprofit would be find another nonprofit that is already in existence that does what you're thinking about needing to be done. And what I mean by that is we have nonprofits galore, but a lot of them are repetition. They're repeating what somebody else is doing. Even if you find a nonprofit that's not quite doing what you think should be done, but their mission is close to what you're thinking about doing, go and talk to them. We need help. So go and talk to them and say, hey, I have this idea and I would like to partner with you. And then go under their umbrella and start that program for them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like a good example would be like with Loving Arms. One of the things that we do is we give out free hats and wigs and scarves to cancer patients. Well, if you're out there and you think you want to start an organization that provides wigs for cancer patients, then instead of trying to start an organization that does that, find Loving Arms and say, hey, let's partner. I will start this program or enhance the program that you already have, and I will take care of this and handle this. That's a win-win. That way Loving Arms doesn't have to worry about that anymore, but we can send our people to be in this program, and you be under the Loving Arms umbrella, and you don't have to go through all the paperwork and starting a 501c3 and all that good stuff. So, and you'd also benefit from our being out there already, and you don't have to do all that. You just join in with somebody. So that would be my suggestion. Before you start the organization, try to see if there is an organization that is in existence that could use your help, and then partner with them. The second thing would be to get involved with like the different collaboratives, they already know who the nonprofits are in the area, like Cobb Collaborative. They know every nonprofit that's in Cobb County. And if you want to know who does this or who possibly does that, they would be a great people to call and find out and get involved with, because they have educational programs that teach nonprofit important stuff. Because I was a nurse. I didn't know anything about nonprofits. And like I said earlier, we fell into it. We kind of backed into it. We were making arts and crafts and sitting at the flea market selling them. And people were like, oh, that's great. What can we do to help? If I donate to your organization, can I write it off on my taxes? We didn't know anything about that. But if you need some chemo, we can give that to you, because that's what we did. So we started researching and finding out what we needed to do and started the paperwork and got our 501c3 and still didn't really know what it meant to be a nonprofit or how to run a nonprofit. And as the years went by and we went to different classes and groups and got certifications and stuff, all along, we're still helping people, but we're also trying to do this and work full-time jobs. It was wild, but we did it, and we learned what we needed to do. But the biggest thing, I know this isn't part of the question, but I'm going to tell you this. You have to know that a nonprofit is your mission, what you're trying to do in the community, as well as a business.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that. In order to run a successful nonprofit, you have to have people running the nonprofit. In other words, you have to have employees, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 10, 12, however, this depends on the size of the organization. If you don't have employees that are dedicated to running this thing constantly, and that's their main focus, it's not going to survive. It's not going to survive. Some of our weaknesses or our oppositions in nonprofit is other people trying to raise money too. So you have donors out there that everybody's trying to get to, and donors donate to what matters to them. And so somebody that doesn't care, not that they don't care, but cancer is not a big thing for them, may not be interested in Loving Arms. They may be interested in education because they're a teacher and they feel like education needs it. And so they're going to donate their funds towards that. So we're all out there vying for donor dollars. And so if you're not ready to understand that it's a business as well as your mission, then it's not going to work, because you have to pay your people to be there, to serve the people, to help your mission come to fruition. And
I think that's important that you bring that out, because while there are volunteers, there are people that, like you said, have to be there and run, and that's their business, that's their job, that's how they get paid. So, and they got families too. That's right.
That's right. Because the volunteers, at the end of the day, we love our volunteers. But if a volunteer wakes up and they've got a headache or stuffy nose, you know what? I'm just volunteering, so I'm not going to go today. But you got to have somebody in there calling people and making sure their needs are being met. So you have to have employees.
Right.
So we love our volunteers, don't get me wrong. And they are what make our world go around in doing fundraising and reaching out to people. But at the end of the day, they don't have to be there. So you need somebody that has to be there, your employees, that's going to make sure this thing is still moving and running even during the holidays and stuff like that.
So other than volunteering and the financial aspect of it, how can individuals and businesses get involved and help you guys?
We love when businesses and other organizations have fundraisers. Like this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And there are a lot of people that are doing different things. Well, we have a special program called the Pink Ladies. And what we do is that's where different people that are breast cancer oriented can donate their funds, and it's specifically for breast cancer. We have a matter of fact, here in Cherokee County, tomorrow they're having their charity golf tournament, and they're going to fundraise for us in Cherokee County. So it's a big fundraiser, and it's wonderful. I normally go, but I'll be at the Alabama game tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
Yes, roll tide. So I won't be able to go, but I have people that will be there, Janet and Michelle. Janet is our director, by the way, and Michelle is our care coordinator. And so those are our 2 full-time employees that keep things running for us. So they'll be at the event tomorrow, and we'll be all pinked out. Even though our colors are lavender, we will be all pinked out, and it's so much fun, the golf tournament is. And so that's an example of the community getting together, doing something to help us.
Right.
So we love going to events where all we got to do is collect a check. Oh my God, that is awesome.
Lois, is your brain running like mine is?
Yes, all over.
All right, we'll talk later. We'll talk later. All right, so share a little more about the golf tournament. Where is it at and how people can get, I know you just said it was yesterday. It's tomorrow, but.
It's tomorrow, and it's at the, I need to call Janet and Miss.
All you golfers out there, just you can go to the website, probably your website, right?
Yes, go to
All right,
Loving
so
Arms
share
website.
your website.
Yes. But it's as far as the golfers are concerned, they're already registered. The ones that are going to participate tomorrow, they're already registered and different things like that. But we like spectators to come out and look and and buy some of the silent auction stuff and donate and different things like that.
All right.
So it is at the golf.
The golf course.
The golf course in Cherokee County. It's the one not far from here, right up off of
Town Lake.
Yes.
Okay.
It's that one.
All right. Well, share your website anyway, so people can find other information about you and that good stuff.
Okay. Our website is lovingarms.support.
How about you already shared a phone number, but is there an email?
Yes, you can email us at info@lovingarms.support. We try to keep it simple.
There you go.
And we try to
There
keep
you
it simple.
go.
And we use .support because that's what we provide. We provide support. So lovingarms.support.
Awesome. Well, Shay, thanks for coming and sharing a little bit of your story. Don't go because we're not done with you yet.
Okay,
so
cool.
We're going to move over town to Miss Loice Hayes with celebrations to remember. And let me tell you, it is a celebration to remember when Lois gets involved. So, Lois, thanks for being here this morning.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So, you and I sat down, I guess, a few months ago and talked, and we hit it right off. And we knew we needed to do some things together, and you kind of jumped in and helped me with the locker room chat. So, before we get into your business, just share a little bit of your background, and we'll get into what you're doing.
Sure. Okay. So, wow, there's a lot to unpack about me, but I will kind of keep it brief because my husband says I talk too much. But
Stone doesn't have a show till 3:00, so we're good. So
I know, right? So I am a mom of 2 little girls. One is 4 and one is 18 months. My husband and I have been married for 7 years in December, together for 10. And I grew up in California, and I lived in Vegas for a little while. And my husband is from this side of the world. So when we met, I packed up everything and moved out here to be with him. And it's been the best decision that I've ever made living in the South, because everyone down here is just so friendly, so wholesome, so kind. And I was stuck in retail management for quite a bit of time. And when I had my daughters, I realized I needed something that was going to help me live my dreams. So that's why I decided to start Celebrations to Remember. It's a full service event planning business where I do everything from planning the events to executing the decor of the events, hiring the caterers, finding the vendors for your events, things of that sort. So I partner a lot with nonprofit organizations. I do a lot of events for weddings, baby showers, birthday parties. And so I've always been passionate about helping people make it a memorable experience, because growing up, I was the youngest of 5. So obviously my parents had so much on their plates and couldn't really have, birthday parties for all of us, couldn't have celebrations for all of us. And so I was always the one that was like, it's okay. I'll do it. I'll do it, Mom. I can handle it. So I would always put on celebrations and parties for my family growing up. And, I would go to like the Dollar Tree and get little things that I thought were the best items for the birthdays and celebrations. And I just loved being able to bring a smile to my siblings' faces and my nieces and nephews and things of that sort. And so I actually went to college for meetings and event management and hospitality management. And I also have a certificate in event management as well, too, through Eventrix. And so I am just really passionate about relieving the stress off of others when it comes to the event that you're putting on, because you're putting on an event for your business or for your family to be able to enjoy it. And most of the time people don't even enjoy it because they're so stressed about everything else that's going on. So,
amen.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes.
am here to help take away all of that, where you can just focus on what you're there for, which is helping to promote your business, helping to entertain the people that you're invited to your event. And so that's why I started Celebrations to Remember.
So I'm going to, again, shout out to Lois, because Kevin, we've become really good friends. And so he likes to joke back with me, and I joke with him, and seeing how many times I can tell people how many times we made him cry at the event for All In, All Out Ministries. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Harris started All In, All Out Ministries helping men with addictions because he was in that lifestyle. And it's just an amazing story. So when I first suggested that you and I were going to partner with Kevin came to me and said, everything that I see, though, it's going to be like for little kids on decorations and stuff. And then Lois brought out her superhero and brought the
He
decorations.
specifically said he didn't want it to look like a 3-year-old's birthday party. I
Right.
think those were his words.
Oh my.
Because I do a lot of kids' birthday parties, so I think that's what he saw on my social media.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Kevin, do not worry, do not fear. And so it was a really elevated upscale event, something that really helped highlight what he was passionate about and showcase all of the different sports memorabilia that was there.
Well, it was cool because literally, I don't know if you saw him do this, but literally when you got finished decorating, first of all, she was there running around like a chicken with her head cut off since I don't know how long, and then stayed late and all that stuff too. But when he walked in the room when she was done decorating, the tears just started. Wow. So,
Made an impression for sure.
Yes.
not just to him too. Let me just tell you. So a lot of people, they're still talking about the event. So,
Oh, thank you.
all right. So, but you were very passionate and wanting to help with that event. Well, just tell us why. I mean, you have a little bit of a story why.
I do. Bear with me if I ever get emotional at some point. But
I've told Kevin I have this is the other thing. I got people cry on my show too. So go ahead.
So Kevin and I have a fairly similar story. I struggled with alcohol for close to 15, 16 years of my life. It was very, very hard for me. I would wake up and drink and I would go to work and drink, and I would get home and drink some more, and nothing made me feel better than having a drink in my hand. And it wasn't something I could control, because I tried to just have, like one glass of wine or one beer, and that never, ever worked for me. Like to this day, I can't even comprehend how people do that, because it doesn't make sense to me why you would only have one when it doesn't make you feel anything. So it was always a struggle for me. And I hid it very, very well. I considered myself a very high functioning alcoholic because nobody knew, like no one. And so it took a very, very, very bad experience for me to stop. And it was an experience that hurt my husband, it hurt my family, and it changed my life forever. It made me realize that I couldn't go down that path, especially if I wanted to have a family down the line. I never wanted my girls to see me like that. And this was before I had my daughters. So I'm so thankful that I decided to stop before I had them. But I can't imagine working with someone better than Kevin for that event, because I talked to him about my story, and I shared my story with him and how important it was for what he was doing to the community and how he was giving back to all of those men that really need and struggle with it so much. So, sorry.
I accomplished it, Kevin. Sorry.
I know. And it's always Kevin, too, because Kevin cries. So when he cries, I cry. So anytime I talk about him, I'm always crying. But it's just an honor just being able to partner with organizations that give back in that fashion, and knowing that there's someone like Kevin out there that cares about the community that much. I knew I had to jump on. And so I partner with a lot of nonprofits that way. And my services are donated to, for the most part, to their organization and to whatever it is that they have going on. But it's, if you have any kind of nonprofit organization, whether it's cancer or whether it's anything that's nonprofit, I can help you with your events. And I come in and I help take over any of the decor pieces, any of the vendors that might be coming in. I help support with any of the food trucks, anything that you have going on.
And do you travel to Puerto Rico?
To Puerto Rico? Ooh, I have not, but I will definitely.
If her ticket's paid for, she probably would.
Yeah. If the ticket's paid for, I'll go.
Yeah.
So she and I just, we've dubbed the dream team. So it's not just, it's Lois, myself, and Lawrence Somony. I'll get it. I always mess it up. And Anna Christine Bouillet. I got that right too.
You did.
Nice.
You nailed that one.
And Ann Say. That's my dream team. You notice I'm the only male, Dana.
Yes, I know that. But you're quite comfortable around women. That I know.
So she and I are partnering too in November. We've got another nonprofit that we're working with that it's going to be a veteran business owned or first responder owned business expo. And a portion of those proceeds are going to the Outer Circle, which is a nonprofit based in Dallas, Georgia, helping veterans and first responders with PTSD and suicide prevention.
Nice.
So anybody knows veteran businesses or businesses that want to hire them, let me know. We'll get them involved in the expo as well. So, all right. So I wanted to go back to, obviously there's a reason why you get involved with the community, and we talk all the time about community, obviously, in the show, but why is it important for you to be part of the community?
So my biggest thing has always been I have to put my serving heart first. And people say I don't have a mean bone in my body, which is probably really true. And I've always been a giver. And one of the things that my pastor said in church one day was we have to step out into levels of obedience that really scare us and challenge us. And so that's what I wanted to really do when it came to giving back with celebrations to remember. And I started reaching out to local businesses that were nonprofits. I'm partnering with the Open Door Home in Rome. And I put on events for their kids every single month because those kids don't get to have birthday parties. They don't know what a celebration is. And so just being able to give back like that and seeing the genuine reactions from people that have never had anything like this before, that is the main reason why I continue to do what I do with celebrations. And I really want to continue working with nonprofits in that way. So that way, I told my husband, I was like, if I never make a dime from this, but continue to make people happy, that is all I would ever want in life. And he was obviously like, wait a minute. We need to bring in some kind of income. But I truly enjoy giving back as much as I can. And I do a lot of things. They say you have to serve in silence to truly get blessed. So there's a lot of things that I do that people don't even know. But I want to make sure that I support the community in any way that I can. So I do a lot of things. I don't want to mention them all because that's not serving silently, but I just always want to make sure that no one goes without a celebration. And if there's someone out there that is struggling financially and needs to have a third birthday for their son or daughter, I will take care of that if I need to, in any way that I can, because I don't want any parent to feel like they can't have that for their kids. So not only is it the organization, but I also look out for things like that within the community to really help them as well.
All right. So Chad just may have gotten his competition with beating out of the heart of the chest. So So you also told me when we first sat down and met that you told me about a couple of events that I never thought about. You've mentioned that you've done some celebrations of life events.
Yes.
And that's,
oh my goodness.
I mean, can you speak about what that looks like?
Yeah, definitely. Those are probably hands down my favorite ones because those are so personal. The ones that I've done, I've been able to incorporate what their loved one felt like and bring that to life at their celebration. So, just for example, a couple of the ones that I did, one, their mom loved the ocean. She loved the beach. She loved that life. And so I was able to really bring in all of the ocean elements to the decor pieces, bring in dolphins, bring in like real sand. Real seashells from the beach, really bring in all of those elements that she loved. And then all of her favorite food, her favorite flowers were there. I created a slideshow with all of the memorabilia of their photos. I was able to project that on our projector. And really, and I also made all of those obituary cards and things of that sort with her favorite poem on there. And just really those small touches that people get overwhelmed doing for events. I can do all of that and bring that to the table when it comes to those celebrations of life. And then the other one that I had was so special. She loved the 70s and the 60s. So we made it really groovy for her in a very elegant way. And so we were able to incorporate all of her favorite designs and elements with the 70s and the themes of that sort, and her favorite colors were in there. And so when the family walks into those spaces, they can feel that loved one that's right there. And every event that I've done for those celebration of life, people always come back and just tell me how they knew that that person was there because they could feel it in all of the decor. So when I do those, it's so special to I'm just emotional all day today, but it's just so special to my heart doing those because I really take the time to make it super, super personal for the families. And, I love doing this.
That's awesome. So when I started out as a sports writer years ago, I always told myself I was never going to ask stupid questions, but I'm getting ready to ask a stupid question. Okay. At least I feel like it's going to be a stupid question. These celebrations of life services, I guess probably you do them after the service, or you do them, how does that look? Yeah.
So, it actually varies, because some people don't have a memorial or a funeral and just choose to do the celebration of life instead, because, then it doesn't feel like it's a sad event. It feels like the family is gathering to really remember that family member that passed away. So for the first one that I did, the family couldn't come because of COVID. So no one was able to be there for her funeral and for her services. And so 2 years later, they had the celebration of life and they were able to gather everybody there for that. So that made that very, very special because they hadn't seen each other in a while as well too. And then the other one, they chose to have the celebration of life instead of the memorial service and the funeral as well too.
That's pretty awesome. Never thought about that. So that's really cool. All right. So if somebody's listening and is thinking about starting a business, because you've hopefully done that, give some advice on starting a business.
Yeah. So, I have been blessed beyond measure. I'll just start off by saying that, because I started my business earlier this year in February, and it has taken off because I have left it in God's hands. And I'll answer your question in a second, but I just want to say, if it wasn't for my church and the ladies in my women's ministry that prayed over me and really helped me find my calling, I would have never started Celebrations to Remember. I was so lost last year. I struggled with, I've been 7 years sober. And thank you. Yes. I've been 7 years sober, but last year when I had my daughter, I struggled with a lot of postpartum anxiety, and it was very, very hard for me to figure out what my why was and what I was going to do next, because I was working full time, working 50 plus hours a week, only seeing my family like 1 hour a day. It was very, very hard. And so I would go to church every week, every Wednesday night for our women's Bible study. And they really helped me realize what family was all about and how I needed to find my calling. And so I prayed about it. They prayed it over me. And in January, I told my husband, I was like, why am I waiting so long to start something that I've always been so passionate about? And so that's when I realized that you don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to start. You just have to go for it. And if it wasn't for me stepping out of my comfort zone and just saying, hey, my first few events may not be like exactly how I want them to be, but if I showcase something, that's a start, and that's what I need to do. So I knew that if I did start, I needed to start correctly. So in February, I got my LLC, and I registered with the state of Georgia and became an official business. And so I launched off by doing my daughter's first birthday party, and it was a very hungry caterpillar theme. And because she eats all the time, always. And Brian has seen her plenty of times, and she's always eating. And so
she and Terry say you're going to get along very well.
Yes. Yeah. And so I showcased that. And from there, things blew. Like it was crazy how many notifications I got, how many messages I got. And so I was sitting there like, wait, I don't have inventory yet. I don't have this yet. I don't how is this even happening? And so, what I realized was that I needed to hit the ground running. So start a business and be prepared to move and move fast. Because if you, just are genuine with the people that you're meeting and are genuine with the people that you have relationships with, then those people, when they see the first thing that you do, that is really going to help you in the long run, because that's exactly what happened. And so I was ready to move quick. So as soon as I finished that event, I continued to build my website. I hired a virtual assistant to build that for me. I hired someone to help me with events. I started really I think that's around the time when I started meeting up with Ryan and Cartersville Business Club. And so I knew that if I wanted to continue to grow, I had to continue to network. And so I'm a very personable person. Like, I'm very personable and I love people, but I get really shy in large groups. So when I started going to Cartersville Business Club, I was like, I don't want to talk. Like, no, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be here and there. But one thing that I learned was that if you just share a little bit of your story, the rest will fall into place. And so when you start a business, start it for something that you're really passionate about, and then be prepared to move fast. Don't just be prepared. Don't just start it and expect things to happen. And yes, I got all of those phone calls and I got everything, but it's because I built those genuine connections to begin with. And I was able to really grasp the attention by helping people trust that I could do these things for them. So, yeah, I think
it also helps that you have the cutest assistant in the world.
Yes.
So.
She's 18 months old now. And anytime I go to the Cartersville Business Club meetings, I take her with me. So everyone always wants to hold her and hug her. And it's so fun. So
well, I'll ask this because obviously, like you said, you're new to the networking. And essence, do you have a positive testimonial about networking you can share?
Absolutely. Yes. So 2 of them actually. The first one is definitely hands down Cartersville Business Club. The second that I joined that, I have done close to 15 events from referrals from Cartersville Business Club alone. And, the people that are there are just so genuine, so kind, and so honest. And so, if you have something in your community that allows you to go and find a mentor, find somebody that will help you, be marketable in your events, that's definitely something that you should do. And then the other one, is your online presence, and, just really making sure that you focus on the connections that you build there. So hiring a virtual assistant is probably the best thing that I ever did, because she takes care of all my social media marketing. She does all of my Instagram posts, my reels, all of my videos. And those are the things that entice clients to go on there. But backtracking a little bit to the networking is the Cherokee Connect. If you guys aren't part of that, that's definitely something that I would consider joining. With Cherokee Connect, I have gotten, I would say, and this is not even an over exaggeration, I think about 50 to 60% of my clients have come from Cherokee Connect. And that is an online, it's on Facebook. It allows you to meet. How many members are on there? I can't even
ton.
Keep track.
You can go in there and join without having to pay, but it's worth paying the the $99 for the year, because then you can, there are certain things that you can post as a free member, but obviously if you pay, you can post more.
Exactly.
But it is very, very active. And when a lot of people, it's mostly people go on there and they ask looking for certain services, and that's where you can tag people, and it's very, very active. So,
yes. So if people post that they're looking for a backdrop for a certain event, or they're looking for a balloon garland, or they're looking for table settings, Brian is always like the first to say, Loice Hayes, celebrations to remember. And so, if you build those connections and you have connections with the community, they will tag you in all of those things that is on Cherokee Connect. And yes, at least 50% of my business this year has been from there. And people that have stemmed from there as well too. So if you have your online presence be in a group like that, because they they also allow you to, advertise on there. So if you want to post and say, hey, I have this coming up, would anybody be interested in doing this XYZ? And so it's definitely a great spot for networking.
You can do more of that when you do actually pay.
When you pay the $99.
By the way, you're welcome, Josh Bagby. He's the one that has Cherokee Connect. So, which I've never met in person, by the way. So.
I haven't either, but I've talked to him a few times, and he's very kind.
Yep. Yeah, I know he's been on some shows on here before, but I'll have to get him on my show. So awesome. Well, Lois, thanks for sharing a little bit of your story and stuff, but don't go away. We're not done. We're moving over now to my friend. That's all I got to say is my friend. But Dana Austin, an author, a speaker, and you actually just kind of a new title as well, right? So you're the director of Global Chamber Atlanta. Right?
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, Brian.
So, we go to church together. We're friends, but I just know that you have a passion for people and helping others. And I know that you do a lot of things, especially with authors and things of that nature. We'll talk about the Puerto Rico thing here in a minute, but why she talked about that. But give a little bit of a background on why you do what you do and why you're so passionate about others.
First, I want to thank you for being the great connector that you are, and having the foresight to bring the three of us business women of God together, not knowing that this would be such a synergy. So I'm excited about that. I've been sitting on my hands for so long.
Well, they say you save the best for last. Not that any of that, but
I'm just the cherry on top. You guys are the sundae. But my background is nursing. I've been a nurse for if I say it, okay, I'm going to say it, 30 years. And in that capacity, I've served in many roles in clinical research and clinical trials and helping to develop drugs and devices, including cancer treatments at WellStar, working right next door to Northwest Oncology for the research center. So, but what I realize is that all the things that God has allowed me to do in my life have been connecting and building blocks to do what I'm doing now, to show up as an integrated person. And there's so much that has been said that I really want to touch on, but I've always been a writer, loved writing. And I remember growing up, oftentimes my family members and friends would say, could you review that for me? Could you edit that? Could you write it even? And it just was second nature for me. And, but at some point, you know, as an odd developing teenager, you just don't think you're good at anything. So I stopped writing until 2004 when I resumed that again. And, so I'm happy and proud and give God the honor to say that I'm an award-winning, best-selling author that has now become a writer's coach, helping writers or become authorpreneurs, not just authors, but authorpreneurs on the business side. So I've been doing that for 4 years now, and we host a writers conference in Puerto Rico every December, the one that's coming up for our Transformational Writers Conference.
Is that why you want me to come to Puerto Rico?
Yes. And I know Shay's coming, and I'm sure Brian's going to go, well, you know, I connected you through.
We also need to get Anna involved with her, Lois.
Yes, definitely. Anna's amazing.
Awesome. So we host our Transformational Writers Conference December 7th through 10 in one of the best resorts. But what I did in the last few weeks with the help of some incredible friends and members of my Global Chamber Board, Stephanie Austin and Nicole Floyd Turner, is that we established a nonprofit entity called the Transformational Writers Academy. So it's new for me. And I heard everything you said. If you're new, you need to collaborate. If you're new, you need to connect with somebody who's doing what you're doing or how you can partner. So I'm connecting and looking for support in developing grants because we also adopted one aspect of what we do is youth at risk and helping our young people recognize who they are, their ability, their purpose, empowering them to walk and have a better appreciation, understanding of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging as they become authors. We want to create an anthology for them so that they are published authors and they have a greater confidence about who they are. They can leave a legacy. They can learn what a legacy is, right? But really empowering our youth at risk in the mainland of the United States, since I'm based here in Atlanta, but also in Puerto Rico and San Juan. There's so much that I'd like to say, but what we do and what we're looking for is to find people that want to support and help develop our young people. And it's not just young people that we help write because all of our writers, except for two, have been adults. Our youngest author that we help to get published is 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Our oldest author is 86 years old. Wow. So we go from 8 to 86 and everywhere in between. And we've got best-selling, we've got award-winning, we've got people. In this conference, we have 6 Global Chamber members, executive directors that will be speaking in Puerto Rico. So Global Chamber Atlanta is a chamber of commerce, but it is for profit. So I head that up. And I've been doing that for a while, bringing business leaders together, entrepreneurs, connecting them. But I'm learning so much from you all today. It's just been such an eye-opener for me and an encouragement to keep going on, to build a team, to ask for help, to seek collaborations. And
I got more connections for you, so don't worry.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And to be ready to run.
Yes, be ready.
I've got my sneakers on.
So, you talked about your nursing and that stuff as well. So, obviously you're very, very passionate about helping others. Why is it important for you to be part of the community?
Why is it important for me to help the community?
To be a part of the community.
Oh, to be a part of the community. I couldn't exist without the community. And I know Lois mentioned her church, our church. We're very active in it. Our church is very active in the community and in supporting us as members, individually, collectively. Even this evening, our church, Marietta Adventist Church, we're hosting a women's weekend retreat, but it's in the day. So you come in the evening this evening, and then tomorrow in the day, and then workshops, and it's dealing with grief and loss, not just loss of life, but loss. And so we want to extend that invitation. If you want to come, we'll still go ahead and accept people tonight. We're at the Marietta Adventist Church in Marietta, and we start at 7 till 9. So there's a plug. And the community is who I love to serve. One thing I know that we all have in common is a heart of service. The more you give, like the song says, the more you give, the more it comes back to you. And it's just incredible to see how it works. So I just also believe pouring from my cup. So I have to talk about tea.
There you go. She's great at women's teas too. So go ahead.
I said, Brian's going to ask me about that. So I became a certified tea consultant several years ago. And you're going, what on earth is that? Well, that's a person who wants to learn every single aspect about tea. And I would host tea parties at my home for the ladies. I love events.
Yeah.
I love events.
And I love tea, so this is perfect.
Well, my best-selling award-winning book is on tea. It's Tea with Strings Vignettes. Tea with String Vignettes, Culture, Custom, and Custom. So I started hosting this event for ladies, girlfriends, because I didn't want them to be shy about having more than one bonbon or one scone. Have what you want, as many as you want, as many cups of tea as you want. Let's celebrate life and laugh and love together. So I did that for 10 years. And in the process, I was hosting tea parties, including at, not Callan-Wall. Maybe it's Callan-Wall. Yeah, down in Decatur. And we would do 200 people one Mother's Day, 400 the next. And I thought, let me back this up a little bit. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Even with a lot of hands, right? Mm-hmm. So then eventually I moved to the mountains. I moved to LJ. And a friend of mine kind of forced my hand, held my hand, and made sure that I got a place that I can open a tea shop. Like I didn't even look for it. And I thought, well, I guess I'm going to have to do this. And we did. And we were the first minority-owned, Black-owned female business up in LJ, which I love. You'll always hear me talk fondly about it. And then I had been writing, but not wanting to publish what I wrote because I didn't really feel so secure about it, even though people came to me about writing. So I sat on my tea book for 10 years. So much so I had to research it again because things, change. And then finally, my sister, being an inspiration, one of my sisters, I should say, because I have several, wrote and released her book in like 4 months. I was like, wait a minute. Let me revisit my book. And so she inspired me and she just did it. She jumped. And so I did that, released the book, had the experience with the tea shop, and it all comes together because it's about celebrating people and creating a space where people can come aside and be celebrated. So yes, the tea book, and there'll be another one. That one's Tea with String Vignettes, Culture, Customs, and Recipes. The next one will be 101 tea places to visit around the world, to experience around the world, and I've been to them.
Lois is waiting for that so she can read the book.
Taking lots of notes.
By the way, Lois, my mind is spinning on events for this too, so we're going to be doing some more stuff. I can see it. So,
perfect.
All right. So let me ask you this, Dana. You, the chamber. Talk a little bit about what the chamber and I'm assuming it's downtown.
Well, I'm happy to share more about the chamber, Global Chamber Atlanta. And the headquarters for Global Chamber is actually in Arizona. And we have 525 metros around the world, which means we have a not just a footprint, but a set of footprints, somebody leading out in that particular part of the world. And we help to make business connections around the world just as easy as making it across the street. That's what we do. And we love it. And so we are, because we're Global Chamber Atlanta, we cover 29 counties. Yeah. Whereas you might have Cherokee County Chamber, Gilmer County, Cobb County Chamber, DeKalb County, or the city even. So that's their jurisdiction. But because we're global, we have a broader reach for our metro, and we function a little bit different because we're really making these major connections locally and abroad. So here's one example. So one of my members, he wanted to open a school, technology, in several countries in the continent of Africa. That's been his goal. He joined Global Chamber September, and by February this year, he had 2 venues, schools open in the continent of Africa.
Awesome.
All through Global Chamber and connections. It's who you know, not what you know.
Yep.
And we're glad we know you.
Yes. Yeah, so is there a physical location the chamber has, or is it?
No, we don't actually have a physical location. We're mobile.
Okay.
But we're hosting an event. Thank you for asking.
Sure.
Ryan. Our next event that's coming up is going to be Tuesday, November 14th, and it is our Global Chamber Innovation Summit. And you can find us at globalchamber.org under events. Register for that. You'll want to be there. So we'll have innovators coming, demonstrating, speaking, talking, making connections. Globalchamber.org. And that event's going to actually be in Atlanta, but we know Atlanta also to be right there by the Battery.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, the Battery at the Rich Hart Global Studio, one of the best studios for filming and music and events here in Atlanta. And then, as I mentioned, our writers conference for those who want to meet industry experts. Our theme is escape and create for our global. Sorry, I'm combining the two. That's because our global chamber leaders are also speaking at our Transformational Writers Conference. They're coming in from all over. We're excited. And you can also roll out of that. In January, we're going to have our 90 days to manuscript. We help you get your manuscript done in 90 days. We're finishing up one right in this cohort now. They've got 2 more weeks. They finish October 26th, and they would have accomplished that. But, it's like anything you would say, set your mind to it. Set a goal, and then make a commitment to yourself first. Make a commitment to God, and then to yourself first.
So after you guys go to her event on that Tuesday, that Thursday is our expo. So you can come up and check out the expo.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
It's going to be fantastic.
So,
awesome.
All right. So you just gave a little bit of it, but if somebody's listening and wants to be an author and thinking about writing a book, just give a little bit of advice on what to do.
Sure. There's a small percentage of people, I think it's less than 30%, that actually say, hey, I'm going to write a book, get started on it. And a smaller percent that actually finish it. So I want to applaud you if you're thinking about writing and not sure where to start. And you're saying, I know I've got a story inside to tell. You've got a story inside to tell that people need to hear, each of you. And the best thing to do is first to recognize you want to do it and then reach out for a coach. I coach people along with my team that I'm developing to write this book. And so our website it's a little bit long right now, but you'll understand because it's transformationalwritersconference.com. Okay. And we're going to be moving over to Transformational Writers Academy. That's being developed right now. But in the meantime, it's transformationalwritersconference.com. And once you make that decision, we have a process, a method that we use to help you be successful. It's called the Austin Ikigai method. And Ikigai is a Japanese word that connotates clear in your purpose. Clear in your purpose. And then Austin, that's my last name. So the Austin Ikigai method takes in consideration your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your calling, and brings it all together. And we help move you through all of that as a writer. And it gives me the greatest pleasure to help people birth this book. I guess you can even say on the health side, I'm a writing doula, helping you birth that book and bring it to life, and to let the world see and hug on it like your 18-month-old promoter.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
she's actually the boss.
She is.
So that excites me the most. And I thought, wow, I didn't know I can enjoy something to that level. But when I see people, dreams coming alive, and that I had a small part to play in it, and that I know it was God whispering in my ear saying, go forward, do it. Even if you're afraid, just do it.
So, if you need another good person for your team, I don't know if you remember me talking to you this, but Annette's an editor, and she edits. So
yes,
you need editors.
Absolutely.
So
okay, Annette, I'm calling you. I'll see you tomorrow or tonight.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so share a little bit of information about where people can find information on the chamber, as well as finding information on your books, and how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. So for the chamber, Global Chamber, you can find us at www.globalchamber.org, and there's a wealth of information on there. I say look through it, check out the events. You can even check each continent and find what you're looking for. But find Global Chamber Atlanta on there. Follow us there. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook for Global Chamber Atlanta. And on LinkedIn, we have The Global Chamber. It's listed as The Global Chamber. Follow us there. You can find out what's coming up, what's going on our website. But we post a lot of fun things around the world on LinkedIn and on our respective Facebook pages. Likewise, you can find us on, you can find me on Facebook, social media. Actually, this is under my Dana Austin Speaks. We got to transition everything to the nonprofit, but we're working on it. But Dana Austin Speak, that's who I am across the board. So I'm a public speaker as well. If you need me for one of your events to encourage, to motivate, to light up the place.
Do you ever coach on public speaking? Because
I've not done that.
I may need some
New
help with
business
that.
idea. There you go.
Coaching on public speaking. I have been asked a lot of questions about it, but that might be something to explore. I hear you. I see you. And I'm not letting you out of Puerto Rico.
Okay.
All right. So let me ask you this as well. So, you talked about, having the passion and things like that and being part of the chamber, obviously networking, right?
Yes.
Do you have a positive testimony on networking?
Yes. I have several actually, but this one I'm going to share is I went to Egypt for the first time this year. And so naturally I reached out to our CEO, Doug Brunke, and our vice president, Cesar Trabanco, who's actually he lives in Puerto Rico. I'm like, who do we have in Cairo? And it's just, it never fails. We have someone in Global Chamber everywhere. He goes, oh, reach out to Oscar. Here's his information. It's always a soft connection that we make. So I reached out to Oscar. He emails me. We communicate, tell him where our group is going to be staying in Cairo. And he and his wife says, we're going to send a car to pick you up. Okay. I just like the sound of somebody sending a car for me.
That sounds good.
Like I don't know. That doesn't happen every day, you know, and the vehicle came and picked me up and took me to meet them at a beautiful restaurant that represented Egypt. And so we sat and, you know, my mom has always taught us is that when you're going to someone's house or to their space to take a gift for them. So I had a copy of my book and maybe something else. I signed it and gave it to them. We sat there for 3 hours. Wonderful dinner, but better conversation. And I learned that Omar, he exports fruit for Egypt. Oranges in particular, right? I'm thinking this is like the desert land. Where are they growing these oranges? You know what he told me? The underground water from the Nile.
Wow.
Makes them the largest exporter for oranges.
Wow.
Okay. Whenever I meet someone, my mind is saying, just record, just listen. Because I'm listening for the same reason you do, Brian, how we can connect, same reason you do, how we can make a connection, how you can provide resources, right? So that was incredible. I could have finished that connection and been okay with it. And it had nothing to do with what I do in my business role or my leadership hat or whatever, even as a coach. So we traveled from Cairo to Aswan and then we cruised over to Luxor and then back to Cairo. We flew back. On the plane, I sat across from a lady who's from Spain and she says, oh, I love your outfit. So we started talking about clothes. You know, women, we will always talk about clothes and shoes and places to go to eat, right? Come to find out she had to divert her trip back to Cairo because Spain was running short on produce and fruit and she needed to go try to make a connection. Well, I didn't know her, but I knew somebody that could help her out. So within 2 days, they had met up and the rest is history. Wow. So that's a global connection for sure. But of course, things happen right here locally on the same level. It's too many to count. And I know I'm looking forward to exploring Cartersville. Is it Cartersville and Cherokee?
Yep.
I'm just going to have to put some miles on that vehicle.
There you go. So, and he also just gave me a good trivia question. So thanks for that. I appreciate that. So, no, this is awesome. All right. So one last question. If people want to find out where they can get your books, how can they find your books?
They can find my book on Amazon. Amazon, and it's listed under T with Strings Vignettes, or they can find it under our Transformational Writers Conference page under Shop and the books and the merchandise and registering for the conference is there as well. And we're happy to meet up, and we'll be having some more book launches for our authors soon. So we'll need some volunteers to help with book launches and planning for this event. So if you want to be connected, come on board. Come on.
I think you're in the right room.
Yeah, I know I'm in the right room at the right time.
Yeah, right.
Like sometimes you can be in the right room at the wrong time, but we're in the right room on the right day with the right people at the right time.
Absolutely.
All because of God.
Yep.
It's called divine appointment.
Yes.
Yep.
As they say, won't he do it?
Won't he?
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
We're just going to break out into.
All right, Lois, I'm going back to you just for a second because I forgot to ask this. If somebody wants to get a hold of you for your services, how can they do it?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me. I am on Facebook under Celebrations to Remember LLC. I'm also on Instagram under Celebrations to Remember. My email is events by Lois, and Lois is spelled a little different, so it's events by Loice. So it's spelled like low ice, pronounced like Lois Lane. So events by Lois at gmail.com is the email, or you can give me a call on my business number, and that is 706-609-8388. So those are the ways that you can reach us. Celebrations to Remember.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, guys. So as we wrap this up, this is what I like to do as we wrap the show up. So I want each of you to think about and share either a quote, a word, or just a positive nugget to share for people listening to finish today, 2023 and beyond with. So Shay, go ahead. What you got?
Before we do that, I
Sure.
want to redeem myself.
Okay.
The golf tournament is put on by the Gathering of Friends. It's their 8th annual golf tournament and silent auction. The silent auction is open to the public tonight from 6 to 8 at the Tavern of Town Lake.
All right.
The golf tournament is tomorrow at the Town Lake Hills Golf Course. The registration for that golf course is closed. Like I said earlier, the spots are all filled. But if anybody under the sound of my voice can come out tonight and do the silent auction between 6 and 8, that would be awesome.
All right. Now you redeemed yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. So give us your positive wisdom.
My positive wisdom is with God, all things are possible. Without him, nothing is possible.
Lois?
So again, talking back to one of the things my pastor said, so he talked about how God is always found in relationships. So God speaks to us personally and gives us our calling, but it's our responsibility to share that with the world and build the relationships around us. So if we can share that and find people that encourage us and continue to share that passion of ours, it's just going to flourish from there. So if you can find your people that way, you have a responsibility to influence those people that are the closest to you, and you can use that influence to encourage others to be their best version of themselves. So just really building those genuine connections, and being your true self when it comes to being a business owner.
Dana?
Absolutely. I actually have two, but one of them is higher than the highest human thought can reach is God's ideal for his children. And I would be remiss if I didn't share this particular quote, that there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. Dr. Maya Angelou.
The other thing I like to do as we wrap up is the thank you as a lost art these days. So Shay, thank you for what you're doing for the specifically the cancer community. Lois, thank you for what you're doing in the community as itself and all the celebrations. And Dana, thanks for what you're doing as well, but also specifically for the authors. Everybody out there listening, let's remember, let's be positive, let's be charitable.